Welcome to Corkers today for June 26, 2019. This is a show where I give you a quick look at some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now and give you my opinion on them. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below I'll put a link to each story. You can read about them for yourself. Come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV. Well, let's dive into it, but before we do, don't forget tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, youtube.com/CorkersNews. We will be live on YouTube answering your cord cut related questions. Let's talk about cord cutting, let's talk about the big stories, let's answer your questions about what's happening in the world of cord cutting. So join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on our YouTube channel. Well, let's dive into the news. Netflix has announced all the movies. To the best of our knowledge, these lists have a way of changing without warning. Everything leaving Netflix in July 2019. We have a link to it in the show notes down below, but it includes a lot of movies, including some Austin Power movies, Matrix, and more, are all leaving Netflix this July. I'd love to know, what do you think on this list is something people should binge watch before it leaves? We know a lot of new titles are coming to Netflix next month, including the new season of Stranger Things next week. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you think we should be binge watching before Stranger Things hits, or whatever you may be interested in next month? So check out the show notes down below for a link to that. All right, next up, TCL just got approval from the FCC. They haven't announced this, but went through FCC approval. The new TCL 2019 6 Series TVs. These are new Roku Edition smart TVs with a new body. Looks like slightly improved performance. If it's anything like they announced back at CES, dramatic improvement in the number of contrast zones and more on it. There's two model numbers, the R625 and the R627. Again, probably points to the fact that, like right now with Roku's, you got one model sold at Amazon with a point anywhere remote for the R6. And then you got a remote that's a line of sight remote that's sold at Best Buy for a slightly cheaper price. Now, we don't know when this is coming out. Just because it gets FCC approval doesn't mean it's going to come out tomorrow. But it does look like a pretty impressive TV. The 18 version of the 6 Series was our pick for the best TV under $1,000. Now, yes, there are better TVs you're willing to pay more, but for our point, the TCL 6 Series, which is the one that includes all kinds of local dimming zones and all kinds of really nice features in it, was the best TV for under $1,000. So we'll keep a close eye on this. Still no word on the TCL 8 Series, which is a new 8K TV coming from TCL with a Roku TV built in and 8K picture. Hopefully we'll learn more about that soon. It was announced back at CES 2019. So let's keep moving along. I'd love to know, do you own a 6 Series? Do you like it? Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. All right, NewsOn, which is a free news streaming service. You probably heard me talk about it if you ever watch any of our recommended free channels or free apps to use as a cord cutter, has come to the Apple TV. A few weeks ago it came to the Fire TV. It's been on Roku for years now, and it allows you to watch both live and on-demand local news from around the United States. They do a lot of cool things, like when a hurricane hit Florida recently, they had a whole section like, here are local TV stations that are in the path of the hurricane, so you can watch local news streaming for free on it, even if you weren't in Florida. Which honestly, in these kind of things like a hurricane or fire, local news is often the best news for this. Well, good news is it's now on the Apple TV and offers a ton of content there. And what I love about it is if you miss it live, you can watch it on demand later. I often, with a kid now, watching the 6 o'clock news isn't something I often get to do. So it is nice to, at the end of the day, open NewsOn, check out my local weather, kind of fast forward to the stories I'm interested in, skip over the ones I'm not, and still get my local news for free through this. So check it out. It's available on the Apple TV today. It's available on the Fire TV and Roku. Hopefully Android TV support comes. Of course, I believe you can use the Chromecast feature in Android TV from your phone or tablet to your Android TV powered streaming player. All right, quick question for everybody here. Do you use an antenna? I'd love to know. I have been a big supporter of antennas. Huge catalog of content, huge catalog of free movies and TV shows, especially if you pair it with a DVR. But we surveyed our readers and only 56% 56.3% said they did. All right, but my question is to you, if you don't use it, why? Because I've often say this, people are like, oh, I want the best picture and I want no delay on my sports. Well, the best way to do that is to get a antenna, because the picture on an antenna, I tell you, I think it's better than anything I've seen on cable, anything I've seen on satellite. The picture in most places is just phenomenal, and it's also the first one with no delay. So what happens is that signal comes to the local TV station, they broadcast it, and then they upload it to cable, who streams it there, or they upload it to streaming services, who airs it there. And so if you want the no delay, get an antenna. That's the way to go if you can. I know some people live in areas where antennas are not an option, but the vast majority of cord cutters live in an area where an antenna is a great option. I am not in a major city, but we get 47 free over-the-air TV channels. So check it out. I'll really love to know, if you have an antenna, which one do you have? Do you like it? 2, if you don't have an antenna, why not? What? And if you don't live in an area, we'd love to hear from you. If you say, hey, I live in Mark Twain National Forest. I did that when I cut the cord. I was in the middle of Missouri's Mark Twain National Forest. No over-the-air signal. But that's less than 10% of Americans. So for all the other ones out there, why not? The great thing about too, if the internet goes out, you have a backup all ready to go with your antenna to give you your locals while your internet's out. All right, let's keep moving along. Now, one of the things we often do here at Corkers News is trying to help people save money. And we've talked about prepaid phones before as a way to save money from a traditional payment, or Verizon or Netflix, or Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile type plan. Going to some of these prepaid ones can help you save money. Well, the downside to that has always been the fact that it was capped at speed. You were limited to 5 down speed, which for most things was fine. But when it came to things like maybe streaming live sports over the video part of it, may not have been quite enough. Well, Verizon's newer, it's a kind of still newish prepaid service called Visible, has announced that they're removing the 5 down cap. So they're uncapping the speed and allow you to download whatever the speed would be if you were a Verizon customer, which is really great. Now, this is free for all current subscribers with it's no price hike for all current subscribers. New subscribers going to Visible, which is their prepaid $40 unlimited data service, will now be able to get this at the current $40 price. But they say at some point in the future there may be a price hike for the new customers who want the uncapped speed. I suspect that there'll be probably a tier system here where it's like, hey, you can get capped at 5 down in the future, for an extra $10 get uncapped speed. But 40 down is a great deal with a ton of features, including unlimited 4G, messaging, and talk for just $40 a month. Which, if you have a big family plan and many of the other services, you can get that price. But if you're just a single person, usually that, advertised 40 price point is like 3 or 4 lines you need to get before you can get that price. So check that out. They also announced that they're adding support for the Pixel 3a and the Pixel 3 and Pixel XL. So if you have a Pixel phone, the newer ones, the 3a that was just announced, a month ago, 2 months ago now, you will be able to get that on your Visible account from Verizon. So let me know, do you use the Visible service from Verizon? Do you like their prepaid service? I've heard good things, but I have not used it. I was a Straight Talk customer for a while. Ended up going back to Verizon for my job. I needed the hotspot data, and Verizon has that new 20-some gigs of hotspot data for a very good price. So I went with that for my job. But I was very happy with Straight Talk using the Verizon network. So I'd love to know what you think of it. Leave us a comment, let us know. All right, last story of the day. Roku is the most popular streaming player according to our readers, but the Amazon Fire TV and smart TVs are gaining ground. So Roku is once again by far a very large margin the most popular streaming player and streaming TV. Roku accounts for 67.9% of all of our users, compared to the Amazon Fire TV at 36.6%. Now, we asked our readers what devices they used. We always get comments, well, I have a Roku, but I don't use it. We're very specific when we surveyed our readers that only the devices you used. So this wouldn't be altered by, hey, I have a DVD player sitting in a closet somewhere I'm not using, but I guess it could work with Netflix. So this is people actually using it. The interesting thing I saw here was Roku went down just slightly, just a minor amount, Amazon Fire TV went up just slightly compared to 1 year ago, but smart TVs had a huge jump in people using them. Now there's a little confusion there, even though we were kind of clear that Roku's included smart TVs, the Amazon Fire TV included Amazon Fire TV Edition smart TVs, but there may be some crossover there with people with a Roku TV just listing it as a smart TV. That's not enough though to alter these numbers. I think the numbers are very consistent, and it was very interesting to see smart TVs have a massive jump in the number of people using it. Roku CEO has been talking extensively about how the future of streaming is smart TVs. That's why Roku has been doubling their efforts into smart TVs recently. The other thing I thought was interesting is that over the last year, Apple TV had a dramatic drop. Apple was the biggest drop in users out there. The other kind of interesting note was the Air TV jumped over the NVIDIA Shield. More readers report using an Air TV player than report using an NVIDIA Shield. So I'd love to know from you, what device do you use? Do you agree with these numbers? Does it surprise you that Roku is at 67.9% of our readers? Now, a couple things we always get is, why do these numbers not add up to 100%? Because most of our readers do have multiple devices out there. So, for instance, you may have a Roku in the bedroom, but a Fire TV in the living room, or an Xbox in the living room and a Fire TV in the bedroom. So just keep that in mind, that this allowed people to list all the devices they used. And from our research, most cord cutters use multiple devices. They are very rare to find somebody who says, I have all Roku or I have all Fire TV. Most cord cutters are like, hey, I have a smart TV, an LG that came with all the stuff in the living room. I put a Roku in the bedroom, and the kids wanted a Fire TV in the game room. That's not unusual at all. So leave us a comment, let us know what you use, what you think of these numbers. I'd love to hear from you. Well, that's it for today. If you are a regular here, please ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos we upload or our live Q&A tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, not only with a daily cord cutting today, but with the podcast. So check that out tomorrow. We'll love your support, and we got some big things to help improve the podcast. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I'll see you tonight. Take care, everybody.